Hi everybody, welcome back to Macera Monday. As promised, I have a bookkeeping expert here with me. This is Kim Haley. She has been doing accounting for long enough to know her business. And so I'm going to ask her a few questions that I think are going to be really important for you. We're going to keep this super short, but at the same time, I want to talk to you a little bit about the dangers of commingling your personal and business funds, and at the same time give you some tips for the very basics that you need in your bookkeeping. So here we go. Kim, question number one. What are business expenses? So I've got my personal life, I've got my business going on. Which things are really considered business expenses?
Well, anything that's ordinary and necessary to your particular business. So for example, if you're a lawn care company, you would have vehicle expenses, equipment expenses, you would have insurance, telephone, gas, anything like that.
What about lunch?
Well, I have that to discuss a
Okay,
little bit
okay,
later,
coming
but
soon.
under certain circumstances, yes, but
What
not
about
all.
my new mattress?
Definitely not.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's in the back of your truck, maybe, and you have to, and you live in your, no.
Right. But these are things we see all the time,
Yeah,
right?
you
Okay.
do. You do. I mean, unfortunately, I think that's probably one of the biggest things we see is that people tend to run things through their business that they probably should not. And I think, one of the best things, if it's something that you're not sure of, one of the best things to do is have an account set up on your general ledger called Ask My Accountant. And if you're just not sure, you put it into Ask My Accountant and just leave it there until you're able to clarify if it's something that is a true business expense or not.
So why is this so important? Like, I know a ton of business owners, they come in all the time, they have one bank account, they run their personal stuff, they run their business stuff. Why is this such a big deal?
Well, the biggest issue is if the IRS ever decides to audit you, because anything that's personal, they are going to disallow. And when they disallow it, it's probably going to be from a previous year. So not only are you going to owe your taxes, you're going to have a higher tax bill for that year, but then it also goes back to, you're going to have interest accumulated possibly, penalties possibly. So it's probably not a good idea. The other issue that really is probably more likely even maybe than an IRS audit is you go to apply for a loan. If you have run all these business or these personal expenses through your business, your net income is going to look a lot smaller than probably what it is. The other thing too is if you've owned the business for quite some time and you decide you want to sell your business, your bottom line is going to be a lot lower because you've increased the expenses by running personal things through it. So that's the three biggest issues on why you probably don't want to have the business pay personal expenses.
Now, I know that nobody believes they will ever be audited by the IRS. Have you ever seen this happen?
It does happen. It's not common, but I just think it's a pretty big risk to take. And
those penalties can be.
And especially if for some reason you were to be involved in a lawsuit maybe, and maybe an attorney or you're having a forensics CPA audit. Could some of those things come up and could they possibly report you? I don't know. I just think it's too big of a risk to take. I personally wouldn't take it.
Sure. And I know there's one more reason, which we'll get to at the very end. It's the biggie. It's related to what you just said.
Exactly.
So what do you think is the best way to handle separating these things out and paying for your personal expenses separate from business?
I would just have at least two bank accounts, one business, one personal. And there's a couple ways to do it. In some instances, you want to just give yourself a paycheck and have it deposited into that personal account.
That is the idea, isn't it?
In some cases, you might take an owner draw. But again, you transfer it from the business into the personal account, and then just use your debit card and credit cards that are all related to that personal account.
So separate debit and
Correct.
credit cards as well.
Correct.
Absolutely. Okay. And so you've got, in an ideal world, you've got your personal expenses separated from your business expenses. What else do people need to do in order to substantiate their business expenses? Is there anything else besides just keeping the ledger correct?
That's a good question. You really are required to keep all of your receipts. And what I try and do is, for example, if it's a credit card receipt or if it's a debit card receipt, when at the end of the month when you're doing your reconciliations, the easiest thing to do is just to put those receipts during the month in a folder, and then when the statements come in, match the receipts to the credit card statement or to your bank statement, and then that way I just staple everything together and they are right there.
Awesome.
You do need to be a little more careful on what you brought up earlier, meals / meetings / entertainment. What I do and what our company does is we on the receipt document, who was at the meal,
Okay.
what the business, you are supposed to document the business purpose of the meal. So for example, if it's a new client, obviously, and you took a potential new client out, and you would just document that on your receipt.
Okay.
The other one that can get a little tricky is mixing personal and business travel.
Ah, okay.
I mean, so you have to just be really careful and really document, what was personal about the trip, what was business about the trip, because you can't just
I can't just take my whole trip on that business expense?
Unfortunately not. I mean, you could go to something that was a one-day thing and stay for an extra 3 days, and you can't just take it all as a business travel expense. So.
Dang it. My trip to Cancun is all messed up.
No, you're not going.
You're right, I'm not going anytime soon anyway, but but if I did. All right, talk to me about this last big thing, the last big risk of running your personal and business expenses together. We happen to work in an office where there are a bunch of lawyers around all the time, and this is something we hear about all the time. So tell us a little bit about that last big one.
I think it's especially when your company is a corporation, and one of the things I've always heard and I didn't understand for a long time is piercing the corporate veil. And that is one of the things, if you mix business and personal expenses, you have, I think, what they call blurred the lines as to what's business and what's personal, and that can come back and haunt you legally if something happens. So that's another great reason why you don't want to commingle those lines.
Right. And I think even to be even more specific, so if you've got a business and something happens in your business and you are sued, for instance, an employee gets injured or killed, there's product liability of some sort, you're driving down the street and you have an accident even. When somebody brings a lawsuit against your business, the whole reason you formed a business entity is to separate your personal and business life. But when you have in your bookkeeping blurred the lines, the courts can actually go into your personal space and your personal belongings, your home, your personal bank accounts become vulnerable in that case.
Correct.
So, for me, that's always been a huge reason to really be diligent about keeping my personal and business expenses separate. So, is there anything else we should know?
I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. You are the saving grace of all of our financial stuff. We hope that you have learned a little bit today. And if you have more questions, please feel free to give us a call. Kim, I'm telling you, she knows everything. So give us a call. Put her to the test. Let's try it out. Have a great week. And this is Jessica Macera and Kim Haley helping you build your bigger, better business.